Welcome to the first meeting for 2022 for the Rotary Club of Fort Worth. I know you guys have missed me so much, but I am back for another 6 months to finish out my term here. So we will start today with an invocation by Ryan Hill, Assistant Criminal District Attorney, Tarrant County Criminal District Attorney's Office, followed by the national anthem played by Henry Borbola, Vice President, Sierra Bank. Ryan?
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for the blessings of a new year and all you have given us. Thank you for the friendships in this room and the new friends you will place in our lives this year. As we look forward to this year, we continue to ask for mercy and guidance, be with the sick and the medical community sacrificing so much. Bring comfort to those in pain or in mourning. Bring prosperity and unity to our communities and provide wisdom to our leaders. With this first meeting of the new year, I pray for everyone in this room, help us to lay down our burdens and start this year renewed and invigorated to serve others in our community, our nation, and our world. Let this new year be a blank page on which to write our story. Help us as Rotarians take this opportunity to write a story about truth and fairness, a story about friendships. Let this new year's story be about serving others instead of ourselves. Lord, bless this food, the nourishment of our bodies, so that we may better serve your will. Amen.
All right, play ball. And now we welcome to the stage Ed McLinn, Managing Director, Larkin Addison LLC, to welcome our visitors and our guests.
Thank you, President Courtney. One quick thing, whoever is responsible for bringing back the old iced tea glasses, thank you. Good afternoon and welcome fellow Rotarians and guests here at the Fort Worth Club and on Zoom, and Happy New Year. It is an honor and a great pleasure to welcome the following guests to our first meeting of 2022. As I announce your name, please stand up so the people here in the room can recognize you. First, we have Anita High School, a guest of Lauren Prier. Welcome, Anita. Oh, there she is. Heather Massey, a guest of Amy Razor. John Hernandez, a guest of Pam Cannell. John Thompson, also a guest of Pam Cannell. Chris Cobbler, a guest of past President Fernando Costa. Rachel Jensen, also a guest of past President Fernando Costa. Chauncey Bogan, a guest of President Courtney Lewis. Tammy Terra, who's a pending intro new member. Okay. As well as Lynn Griffin, welcome. We have Mayor Maddie Parker, who is also a guest of President Courtney Lewis. Virginia Carter, a guest of Matt Kimball. And Pamela Baggett, a guest of Matt Kimball as well. And George Kaczynski, a guest of John Wright. Welcome everyone, and I'll pass the mic back to President Courtney.
Thank you, Ed. Yeah, I thought it would just be fun to invite Carlo's boss for today to see what his jokes are. So he had no time to adjust his jokes. He did not know his boss would be here. Well, and then that takes us to our four-way test that guides everything that we do. So if you'll repeat it with me. Number one, is it the truth? Number two, is it fair to all concerned? Three, will it build better goodwill and better friendships? And four, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Inviting his boss might not have passed that test. And now for a less jovial announcement. It is my sad duty to announce that a past president of this club passed away last month, Dr. Joe B. Rushing. He lived his life through the four-way test. He was president of this club in 1972 and 1973. He passed at the age of 100 on December the 8th. He was also Rotary District Governor in 1976, I believe maybe the only member of our club to have that honor. In 1966, he became the first president and chancellor of Tarrant County Junior College, which opened in 1967, and he remained in that position until 1989. I'd like to read you a quote that was written about him. He was revered in Fort Worth, well known for his keen skills that helped TCJC to become a decorated community college. He made hundreds of speeches and presentations to groups of all types and sizes, always promoting the institution that he loved. And now our own past president, Dr. Judith Carrier, who wrote a book titled Just the Right Man about Dr. Rushing, will come up and say a few words. Dr. Carrier, or past President Judith, come on up.
Thank you, President Courtney. Someone has asked how we came up with the title, Exactly the Right Person, for a book that's basically compiled of Joe Rushing's many, many speeches and many other kinds of presentations that he made through the years. One that I am particularly fond of, that the title actually came from, was presented by Dr. Robert Hollander, a professor of comparative literature at Princeton University. He was chairing a committee on the humanities, and he saw a newspaper article with new appointees. And one recent appointee was Joe B. Rushing. And he said the several Easterners sitting there reading it rolled their eyes. They had visions of a football player in a little college town and maybe reading something like, and Joe B. ran 10 yards and did such and such and such and such. And he's from Texas. Then they met Dr. Joe B. Rushing, and they found that not only was he funny and competent and handsome and very, very well regarded by people in Texas and around the nation, but he was someone who knew his stuff about colleges, universities, and junior colleges. And as the years went on, Robert Hollander and Joe Rushing became best friends and stayed in touch through the years. And as this book was put together, the way it came about, we were having a reception at the Northwest campus for his cousin. Mr. Welch was a pretty famous Texas writer at that time. And Dr. Rushing was so proud. There was a great turnout. And I walked over to him and I said, Dr. Rushing, have you ever had your articles published or put together in a volume? And he looked surprised and he said, well, no, I haven't. He said, but if you'll see my secretary, Edith Kelly, tomorrow, she can work with you and you can see whether there's enough there to put together. We had a great staff at the Northwest campus, our media folks, Tahita Fulkerson, one of our former members and whatever. And they edited and put together a number of his wonderful articles. And the foreword also has some wonderful words from Robert Hollander. And he said, as he read through the book, before it was published, he really realized that Joe Rushing was exactly the right person to be managing the fourth largest junior college then in the nation. He knew his stuff, he knew people, but more than anything else, he wasn't pushing things for just his college. He was pushing it for the community, for the entire college movement throughout the United States. And one of the last things he said, after talking to a group of faculty and administrators at TCC, what became Tarrant County College, he realized that Joe Rushing was exactly the right person for that job. So we are lucky that one of our past presidents, one of our past district governors, did such a fine job when he was in those positions. And I think that all of us will probably say, who were around at that time, that he was exactly the right person for this job too. Courtney, thank you so much. And please know, I will make sure that one of these, if it's desired, will go in our library in our Rotary Club of Fort Worth. Thank you. Thank you, darling.
Thank you, Past President Judith. And now, can we have a moment of silence for Past President Dr. Rushing? Okay, next up, we have Chris Jordan, President and Chief Steward of Electroacoustic Sound, with a RMBA 2022 update. Chris?
You know, it's such a coincidence because they wanted someone funny, competent, and good-looking to make this announcement, but they asked me instead. This is an update for the Rotary Minority Business Award. So this award exists to highlight the excellent minority businesses we have in Fort Worth. And we will have our celebration for this award on April 22nd during Rotary, and our very own Mayor Maddie will be presenting the award to the companies that most exhibit our four-way values. We have received over 85 nominations and 35 applicants, both up from last year. We have a lot of really wonderful companies to evaluate, and we will pick the top 5 winners. This award is a no-cost award. If you've been involved in awards before, sometimes you've got to pay $2,500 for the honor of being involved, but this is an award that we really have recognized what a great contribution these companies make. This is a no-cost award. And the reason it's a no-cost award, next slide, is because of these fine folks right here. So these are the sponsors that have made this award possible. So let's give a big round of applause to our also want to recognize just the excellent team we have that have put this together. If you guys will stand up real quickly. Richard Knight is our co-chair, and Nathan Scheidewit is doing our video. Michael Woolman has done all the promotion, has done a great job. Mark Maurer has helped us find our great sponsors, Bliss Coulter. And I also want to thank 3 winners from last year that are on the team this year. And those 3 winners from last year are Samantha Renz, Katrina Carpenter, and Adrian Galvan. So if you guys are here. So, but, yep. So anyway, nominations are officially closed, and we're off into the judging part of the process. And then we go into videos, and then we'll have the big award on April 22nd. So I just want to give everybody an update, and thanks for everybody's encouragement and involvement.
Thank you for that update, Chris. And now we welcome to the stage our President-elect, Sean Snell, Business Specialist at Texas Health Resources, for our first readings, and we have several. Come on up, Sean.
Happy New Year. It's great to see you all. I'm filling in for Rebecca Montgomery. She's traveling, as I recall. So, when we listen to the remarks about Dr. Joe Rushing, and we think about the incredible history of our club, we're reminded of our role as stewards and what a mighty history we have to stand upon. So you guys have done a great job. We have 5 first readings today, so keep up the good work. The first one, Onyinye Akujo, Classification, Finance, Public Hospital Foundation Director, JPS Foundation, proposed by President Courtney Lewis. Second, Chris Cobbler, Classification, Publishing News Media, CEO and Publisher, Fort Worth Report, proposer, past President Fernando Costa. Next, Benjamin Derry, Classification, Business Service, Technology Consulting, Director, PricewaterhouseCoopers, proposed by Joe Michaels. Marianne Pena Frodsham, Classification, Business Service, Executive Recruiting. She's the owner of Career Management Partners, which some of you may recognize as CMP. Proposer, Rosa Navahar. And finally, Rachel Jensen, Classification, Construction Service, General Contracting. She's the Director of Business Development for Prem Construction. And thanks to past President David Campbell for proposing her. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. And if no written objection is received by the Rotary office, we will move on to the second reading. And now we have blue badges to present. So if I could have Howie Ratliff and Mike Crum come up to exchange badges with me. You have now earned your blue badge. The blue badge is earned by doing 6 acts of service. And so, Mike. Thank you for your service. And now we also get to introduce a new member today. So if John Loggenslager and Melissa Rankin can come on up, we have a new member to introduce.
Hello and Happy New Year to everyone. So we're kicking this year off right. We're bringing in one of Fort Worth's young rock stars. We are very happy to have with us here Miss Melissa Rankin, and I'm honored to nominate her and bring her in on her first day. So tell us a little something interesting about yourself.
I sure will. So I'm Melissa Rink, and I'm really excited to be here today. I was thinking, what is interesting about me? Well, this is actually my 10th anniversary in Fort Worth. I'm a Yankee, don't hate me, but I have been 10 years now in the state of Texas, and I had to make the decision between Dallas or Fort Worth. Which one? And Fort Worth, 1,000,000%. So I am a financial planner, and I have the privilege of helping people with their goals. And the most interesting thing about me, there's 2 things. One, I'm a Harry Potter freak. I love Harry Potter. I've made our Greenwich newspaper several times because I was one of the first in line to get the book. So that's one thing. And then fantasy football. I love fantasy football. So if that's a thing that we don't do yet, I'm very competitive. So just saying it. So I'm excited to be here. So thank you guys for welcoming me. Thank you so much.
All right, sounds like we might have a new committee for fantasy football. We're glad that you chose Fort Worth as your home. Took me a little longer to get here, but I got here as quick as I could. So now I have the pleasure to introduce past President Carlo Capua, Deputy Chief of Staff for the Mayor and City Council for the City of Fort Worth, and our past Vice President and the ever-talented Wesley Gentle, Director of Advancement Arts Council, Fort Worth. Come on up and take it away. It's all yours.
Wow. Please be seated, please. Thank you, immediate past president-elect Courtney Lewis. You know, it's always so exciting when your boss just shows up, isn't it? And I was preparing for today's program and late last night, and definitely not in my office this morning with the door closed during working hours with my guitar. We thought that, you know, the last 19 months that we've had, a little scary to try and predict anything. So we just don't know what might happen in 2022. So with the time remaining today, we bring you a mini version of the Fearsome Forecast, and with a few of our very own predictions mixed in with some real predictions made by a bunch of people much smarter than us, right, Wesley?
I would say a little bit smarter than us, yeah.
A little bit smarter. So let's start in the world of technology, see what we have up. In the world of technology news, 2021 brought us unprecedented advances in 3D printing. We saw everyday items being 3D printed, like sneaker soles, furniture, bike frames, headphones, even food, believe it or not. I don't know if I'd want to eat the food, but it's happening. But the most astounding innovation in 2021 was the very first, believe it or not, 3D printed house in Germany. This is a 1,700 square foot building created using concrete 3D printing, and it's intended to prove that 3D technology is here to stay and has reached market maturity. Now, judging by the speed of technology, experts are making two main predictions. Number one, by the end of 2022, the first 3D printed car will be in production. And number two, 10% of the world's population will be wearing clothes, smart clothes connected to the internet. Now, in a related story, we at Rotary predict that past President Gary Cumby's wardrobe will remain mostly unchanged in 2022. But we realize why. You see, his idol is another Hawaiian shirt-wearing heartthrob, David Hasselhoff. And while we don't think Gary's clothes will ever quite be connected to the web, we do predict he will follow in his idol's footsteps and buy that high-tech 3D printed car next year. Wesley, over to you.
I just want to revel in this for a few more minutes. Yeah. Although we picked the one day past President Gary is not wearing a Hawaiian shirt. This is actually a first, but here we are. The Bicar, speaking of automobiles, in 2022, the Bicar, which is capital B-I-C-A-R, a cross between a bicycle and an electric car, something like that, will become available for purchase. The Bicar is an innovative three-wheel electric scooter invented by a startup from Switzerland. It has solar panels on the roof and the front, and it's the first vehicle in the world that can drive continuously using only solar power. It is emission-free, it's produced with sustainable materials, but while the Bicar will be great for the environment, we predict it will become immensely popular as the world's first gender-neutral automobile. Someone got it over here, that's good, yeah. But we think it could take some time before anyone is brave enough to take it on a Texas highway.
And here's some news from outer space. NASA did some research on asteroids and found that the odds of you getting personally hit by an asteroid are not that high, about 1 in 75,000 people, about the same as being struck by lightning. But the big news is that next year, NASA will actually try to divert an asteroid out of its orbit in case one is ever hurtling through space to us here on planet Earth. Now, this September, NASA will execute an asteroid redirection test to see if they can alter the course of an asteroid by literally crashing a spacecraft directly into it at about 15,000 miles per hour. We predict, however, that NASA will abort this very important mission at the last second after learning that the asteroid was simply part of Jim Austin's new marketing strategy. He's everywhere. He was underwater last year. And in political news, we predict, you know what? Let's just not go there. Wesley, back to you.
Good call. All right, well, speaking of controversial topics, economics, non-fungible tokens was the thing of 2021. NFTs is what they're more commonly called. They went from obscurity to absurdity in 2021, with 10,000 different variations of this Bored Ape drawing earning millions of dollars for its creator and early buyers. Recently, hackers stole $2.2 million worth of that thing from a collector who announced to the world the virtual heist happened by tweeting, "All my apes gone." However, these forecasters predict that people will continue to go bananas for NFTs in 2022. That's an NFT, by the way. Also, the world's first digital perfume is an NFT, and a small part of this actual real-life tennis player's arm is an NFT, and probably this is an NFT. Start the bids now.
This is what happens when you don't come to rehearsal. All right, this year, the most anticipated movie of 2022 is Mission Impossible 7, starring a ripe old 59-year-old Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt, a government agent and leader of a team of special operatives. Now, we here at Rotary predict that the most anticipated movie of the following year, 2023, will be the next installment of this movie franchise, Mission Impossible 8, Panther Island. Now, details of this movie are largely unknown, but sources tell us it has a $1.6 billion budget, a fantasy plot, and all family members you bring with you to the theater can just come on in for free.
That joke went right over my head. Let's stay in entertainment news. Spider-Man: No Way Home united 3 generations of Spider-Mans to become the first pandemic release to make over $1 billion worldwide, and it now sits at number 12 among the highest grossing movies of all time. The Sony-Disney collaboration did all of this without a single screening in China, which is one of the biggest markets for blockbuster films. So Hollywood loves a recipe for success, and we predict that the projects greenlit in 2022 will include Batman's No Way Home. Thank you. James's Bonds's No Way to Never Say Live and Let Die Another Day. And probably the biggest breakout hit of the year, Sherlock's No Way Holmes.
I see what you did there.
I will see myself out. Have fun with the rest of the forecast. Yeah. Actually, no, I have to do the next one. So, yes, words. 2021 was the year that we still did not learn how to get along. Even major dictionary publishers found themselves at odds with one another. Dictionary.com, for example, aimed for inclusivity by giving the #1 spot to the word allyship. However, Oxford and Merriam-Webster kind of left them out of the conversation, as their picks were vaccination and vaccination's little brother, vax. Lexicological speculators are already putting their bets on 2022's top vocables, with early leads on the word momentum, resilience, and some things that we can't say in this meeting.
Very true. All right, in sports, it's almost February, and that means the Cowtown Marathon right here in Fort Worth. Here's a picture from our intrepid group of runners, walkers, joggers, and crawlers last year. Now, next month, our club will again participate in what has now become the longest running multi-race event in the United States. And every good team needs a good team name. Therefore, we predict that these will be the list of proposed team names for this year's Rotary team, and some may be rejected by the board of directors. Let's take a look and see if you can figure out what they are. They're plays on the names of members of this club. First up we have, what's this one? Team Carrier Pigeons, yes, for Judith Carrier. Then we've got, of course, the Gentle Joggers for Wesley.
Wesley Joggers.
That's right, and this was back in, that's like 30 years ago, Wesley. What happened?
Yeah, well,
That was pre-COVID, boy.
last week.
How about this one, team?
A lot of miles.
A lot of miles for John Latta, that's right, good. We've got this one you should all get. Team No Holds Barred for past president and Mayor Ken Barr. Then we've got Team Feel the Burn for Jason Byrne at TCU. And finally, last but not least, Team Fairly Certain We'll Finish for Bill Fairley. That's it. Well done. And we wish all of our runners and walkers luck at next month's events.
Well, as the pandemic continues, we predict that some Rotarians will continue to join us for Friday meetings virtually. And to all of you on right now, thank you for joining us. We've been in so many virtual meetings for the past 18 months, and we do predict that when we log on to Rotary meetings in 2022, we will have finally learned to be perfectly centered on screen and smiling nicely, looking directly at the camera, and not making strange facial expressions like, I don't know, this guy maybe? And that picture is actually from the very first virtual meeting we had, April 17, 2020. Can you believe? But unbeknownst to some of you, actually maybe all of you, these forecasters were on Zoom patrol, taking screenshots of some of the more unique expressions. Those of you who forget, right, that the camera's on you while you're in front of it. So let's take a look back and see how far we've all come with your technological skills. And also remember the pain we had to endure along the way. And let's do it to a little music. Maestro? Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
These Rotarians, using Zoom for the first time, Corona. Thinking they cannot be seen, not be seen. Some of their expressions sublime, Corona. Oh, we're never gonna stop, give it up. Such a funny face, took a picture so we don't forget. Just in case it's my, woo! My Corona. Here we go. Look at all these coffee cups, coffee cups. Gary needs a big garage sale, Corona. Twice in one meeting, I'm so sorry, you know. Oh, take a 3, 4. Take a look at Jimmy Parr, trying hard not to inhale Corona. Poor Buzz. 2, 3, 4. Look at Buzz, he can't unmute, looking like a lonely poor guy, Corona. Norm's with us. Look at Norman looking stressed, looking like he wants to cry, Corona. What do we got next?
Oh, I love this one.
Oh, yes. Oh, Betty. Oh. Betty Rogers playing peekaboo, looking like that TV neighbor guy, Corona. That was Carlos. That's a good one. Yeah. 2, 3, 4. Say hello to Neva's hair. Her forehead in the picture. Oh, why Corona?
You saved the best one for last.
Of course. Oh, and Bob Mitchell, who forgot his name, thinks he's Brad Pitt, makes me ask why Corona. Trying to be such a hunk. Bob, we think you must have mild glaucoma. Mild glaucoma. Mild glaucoma, everybody. Mild glaucoma, come on. Mild glaucoma. My mild glaucoma.
Bob, that was for you, Bob. We're up here, Bob. Bob, that was for you. Oh, that was fun. Oh, that went better than I thought. Yeah. Now, it's a tradition of the Rotary Club around the world to award the honor of a Paul Harris Fellow to someone who has demonstrated outstanding leadership in our club. And this is a merit-based award given to someone who exemplifies service above self in the work to their club and their community. So today we recognize a very special young lady who's been a leader in this club, and she's a banker. And you know who it is?
I have a few guesses.
You know, your voice is all warmed up, right?
Finally, yeah.
Pretty warmed up?
Yeah.
Well, I got the guitar.
You know, I see where you're going with this. We should sing the Paul Harris Fellowship Award.
I think we should.
Okay.
I think we should. And
Okay.
you know, Wesley is a classically trained opera singer, tenor, right?
Sure, why not?
Tenor, yes. And so I think it's only appropriate we do it maybe in the style of Jimi Hendrix.
Great call. Yes, the great maestro, Jimi Hendrix.
Here we go.
Yep.
2, 3, 4.
We all know you're a sweet little lone maker, Courtney. And we know you're a sweet little money taker because she's a banker. We want to honor you. We won't do you no harm. Like poor Gary. This pin and plaque so fine, so fine. Banker lady. We all know that you're pretty sporty. Sporty lady. But next to your husband, well, you're a little shorty. Shorty lady. We want to honor you. Come on up to the stage. But not quite yet, because we're still singing. But you can start walking up. But stay there. Okay. But if you want to start coming this way.
Let's all say it together.
Everyone, she's a banker lady. Now you can go up to the stage.
Courtney, you're a great sport, and we just want to say, Courtney came to us a couple years ago and joined the board of directors during a very, very difficult time, and she had the hardest job because she was the treasurer. She was the treasurer. She dug us out of a major hole and decided to stay with it as president-elect and now president. Before coronavirus, we were struggling, and actually we're one of the only clubs in the world, of the 36,000 Rotary clubs around the world, that gained members during COVID because of Courtney's leadership. Please help me welcome and thank and congratulate the newest Paul Harris Fellow of the Rotary Club of Fort Worth, President Courtney Lewis.
Well, thank you. I've been a part of this club for many years. Y'all can be seated. Thank you for that. I did not know it was going to come with a song. I guess there's a reason why I did not see the run of show. I didn't know really what was going to happen. I didn't know it was a secret for me, but thank you for the song and thank you for the Paul Harris Fellow. I'm happy to support our club. So now our final announcements here. Do we have any today? There are none on mine. So next week, and this is a great way to start my year and my final 6 months as president. If you would like to, our next week's program will be Brian Hansen, partner of Votus Investments. So make sure to RSVP to Aurora. If you would like to be a sponsor of our meeting, virtual or in person, please let Mark Maurer know. And we would like to dedicate this meeting in memory of past President Dr. Joe Bob Rushing. With that, our meeting is adjourned. Have a great weekend and stay warm. Thank you.